Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. What's your plan? You have a plan? Do you have it written down? Do you have a notebook with your plan? First video I ever did. Go to YouTube and watch it. I'm very uncomfortable in front of the camera. PACE, primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency, and I talk about that a little bit. But I got to thinking today. I have plans. I have plans for my plans. That's me. But you could benefit from some of that too. Some of the idea of planning some things out in advance instead of trying to wing it. And the reason is, and you should write these down, because when you have to wing something under stress, you are not at your best. You are not thinking as clearly as you otherwise could. And so you should make your plans when you're well rested, well fed, not thirsty, no one's beating on you, that kind of thing. And then you write them down. And for some of these plans, you should get out a pen and paper, not your computer. And you write them down because it helps solidify things, and you can see gaps and things in your planning when you do that. And I want to be specific now, go from the general concept to specific. I talk a lot about condition black. It's like a bad version of WROL in my mind. It's like the zombies are roaming around killing people, right? That's a metaphor. What's your plan for that? Condition black just happened, or something that's going to cause that to happen has just happened. You're going to fill up your bathtub with water? You're going to fill up all your extra containers with water? Are you going to lock these gates and these doors? Are you going to arm everyone? Are you going to get the first aid room ready? Should something happen to somebody and we need to deal with it? Are you going to call all your people? Are you going to assemble? What are you going to do? Right? And so what you do is you think about that now, and then you just make yourself a checklist. Maybe make 4 copies of it. Here, you do 5 through 8. I'm going to do 1 through 3, whatever. And check those things off and get them done so you can have it done quickly. I was in the military, clearly, and we had a mission one time to, I gotta be careful with this, to secure a U.S. embassy without people knowing that we were securing the U.S. embassy. And so we came in civilian clothes with a big plan. We had planned out exactly how we were going to do it, what our response options were going to be for a variety of different things. But this went together pretty quick, and we had to have the ambassador's permission to execute our plan. And so we get there, and I could make this a really long story, but I'm not going to. I get a meeting with the ambassador. He knew we were coming, and he knew kind of what we were there for, but we didn't have time to do the plan, and communications then wasn't what it is now. There was no Skype. And so we sat down in his office with him and an assistant, and we rolled out a blueprint of his embassy. And he goes, "Where'd you get that?" Hey, sir. And I said, "We want to do these things right here." He was blown away that we had not only a blueprint of his embassy, but we had planned what we were going to do. And that just smoothed everything out for us. But we had a big plan that we implemented very quickly in that embassy. We had rehearsed and physically rehearsed after we brainstormed it and wrote it down, and then we were physically rehearsed. And when he gave me the go-ahead, it wasn't 5 minutes later. Embassy was really a lot more secure and didn't even look it. This is well before 9/11. So what's your plan? Have you rehearsed it? Have you written it down? For condition black. New York just got nuked. LA just got nuked. Chicago just got nuked. What are you going to do? Right? I did a video recently where I talked about, the Canary Islands and the tsunami. You just found out that this thing went off and it's 2 hours before the tsunami hits. What do you do? Right? These types of things. I heard my wife hollering. Hold on a second. What? I don't know what she wants, but she's not in trouble. And so there's that. And then the plans I want to talk to you about now that I'd really like to see you implement. I would like to know that you implemented them, is your bug out plan. Plan A should always be to stay where you are. If where you are is not good and your plan A in the event of something bad happening is you leave, you have a bad situation and you should move now. Okay, having said that, this is clearly where I intend to, ride out the apocalypse. But I have plans to get out of here. And you should have plans to get out of wherever you are. And I think an easy way to break it down is you have a couple seconds, you have a couple minutes, you have a couple hours, you have a couple days, you have a couple weeks. Example, you wake up, Yah forbid, not giving these words any power, and your home is fully engulfed in flames. You have seconds to exit your home and get out. We'll just throw Murphy on top of that. The reason your house is on fire is because a nuke went off, whatever. It's chaos. You can't stay there anymore. That's my point. You got to go. What's your couple second plan to get out of your house? Do you have a fire drill? Have you practiced it? You actually have to move people through the steps of getting out of the house. If your plan is to go out a window, you should go out the window. You can take your time and remove the screen carefully for your drill. And knowing that, for real, you're just going to punch through the screen and get out or whatever. But you should practice this. Airplane crashes. There have been many airplane crashes that weren't totally fatal. The airplane crashes, it's smoking. They deploy the chutes for the people to come out onto the tarmac kind of thing. And everybody stands up and they open up the bins and they grab their overhead bags or they pull them out from the seat under them, which causes a huge backlog. And it slows people down when seconds count if this plane actually went fully engulfed in fire. And at first it was thought by the airline industry that this was because of greediness. There's a little critter walking around over there. Because of greediness and people, they want their stuff that's so important, man. And then they figured out later what it was. These are basically people who travel a lot on airplanes. They're just constantly traveling. And they know that when it goes ding and you stand up, you unhook your seatbelt, you turn, you pull down the latch, you pull out your bag. It's what they've done over and over and over and over. And so under stress, you default to what you do. And they just default to that. They're not thinking it through logically, they're reacting, which is why you need to do fire drills. Physically get out of your house. Say, fire, fire. If you have kids, you got to work out how you're going to do that. So you should do that to train your body to do these things. It becomes a drill. That's why it's called a fire drill, not a plan of action that we're going to think this through and talk about it when we're getting out. So you need your plan to get out of your house in a couple seconds. Where are your keys? It's your car. Are they downstairs on the little secretariat right inside the front door, hanging on a hook? So you just bailed out of your bedroom window. It's February and you gotta go, and your keys are inside the now burning house and you're wearing your night clothes. Should I plan for that? Keep extra keys hidden outside, have a set of keys right next to you on your nightstand, whatever. I don't know, but you should have a 15-second plan to get out. Something that we do. So here's PJ's keys. I have my little light on here. I just advertised this light. I had a little push button light on it before, and I just put this one on. Olight Elite, because it's cool. And then I have my keys to everything on here. Got one of these, man. Vital information. records, things like that. Do you know you can encrypt these so that if you lose your keys, somebody gets it and they don't have your vital information? But you run with this because it's right there, or maybe you keep your pants loaded. That's what I do. Hey, I live out in the woods. You see the woman and the kids and the dogs and me. I wear the same pants several days in a row out here because my wife has to wash them by hand, right? And so my pants just stay loaded with all my everyday carry stuff. I got my gun and my all the stuff, and my keys are in my pocket. So I can get out of my bed, throw my pants on, and jump out the window. I can get out of my bed, grab my pants, and jump out the window. Seconds, right? So that's you need a couple second plan. What are you going to do? And you should rehearse that plan because it only takes a couple seconds, right? You should have a couple minute plan. The couple minute plan is when the firefighter or the popo bang on your door, 2 o'clock in the morning, boom, 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 boom. You're like, what? Police, open up. All right, so they are the police. You see all the lights outside or, whatever. It's not a home invasion. You open the door and the guy says, hey, something just happened. You need to get out of your house now. Train derailed, airplane crashed with toxic fumes, wild zombies are coming in a wave, whatever. This stuff happens. You got to go. Get out of your house. So you only have a couple minutes. What do? This is the perfect time for your bug out bag. You have everything, it's like layers, right? You have everything that for the couple seconds. You have your pants on now with your keys and your gun and your reload and all that. You grab your bug out bags out of the closet, you herd the kids, you put them in the car, and you go. Couple minutes, you're out of there. I've told the story about my wife in this drill, but I don't have time in this video to tell that story right now. Maybe another video. So that's your couple minute plan. What about a couple hours? Tsunami's coming. We have 5 hours to get out of here. Well, you don't have 5 hours. It's going to take you an hour to clear the beaten zone. So, you have 4 hours, and you want to allow for Murphy. You got a couple hours. You got 2 hours. Okay. What are you taking if you have 2 hours to go? In 2 hours, you have to leave. Boy, that could be a hectic 2 hours unless you've already done your load planning in your head. You should be taking all your vehicles. Every driver should be driving a vehicle. They should all be loaded to the gills with everything that you can fit in them, but it should be logical, what you put in there, and you're not going to be thinking logically when you get you've got 2 hours to flee or die. You're just going to be throwing stupid stuff in your cars. You're not going to pack it neatly. It's going to be jumbled. You could have done it a lot more efficiently if you had taken the time to think about it, to do a couple practice loadouts of your vehicles and get going. What time, at what point do you top off the cars with gas? Right now. Fill the cars up. Okay, who's doing that? That's a great job for my 13-year-old son. Hey, take these cans and top off every car. Remember how we practice it? Go do that. But what about I got it. Mom's getting your, whatever, out of your room, whatever. Have a plan for a couple hour bug out, and then have a plan for a couple days, right? I said a couple weeks too, but I've moved a lot in a couple weeks. You can move the whole house in a couple weeks, but a couple days. Hey, you've got 3 days to get out of here. 3 days. Okay, well, with 3 days, I think what I'm going to do is try and secure this place so that if I do get to come back, everything's cool. So I'm going to turn off the gas and turn off the water. I'm going to build shutters for the windows, screw in plywood. I guess I got to go get that. But a couple days. But again, plan that out now. What you want to do if you do in fact have a couple days to get out. Heck, with a couple days to get out, depending on where you're going, you might be able to take multiple trips. What goes on what trip? Because you think you have a couple days, and 30 minutes into your first trip, conditions change. That's it. So you probably should have been taking your most important stuff first, right? Things to think about. Work out some plans, and again, just kind of circling back on it. It's important that after you think these things through, and I really like doodling and lists and writing and drawing arrows on your paper and stuff, but once you do, crank it down into a checklist type thing that you can use, that you can look at and think about it, and then practice. Practice the key components of that so that you get good, so that it becomes not a thing for you to pick up and move out in seconds, in minutes, in hours, or in days. All right, I'll see you out there.